be showing my tits tonight. I'm sorry. Sorry,
Well,
everybody.
I believe we're all disappointed with that.
Yes,
Yeah.
yes. Great disappointment. Welcome to Deep Night Revelation. We're going to be picking up where we left off last week. These guys are aboard some kind of colony ship, and they do know that the ship, they've translated some of the language. They know that it is called the Far Colony Postulant, and this ship's got problems. Looks like something called jump resonance occurred, and jump resonance is a case where, so theoretically, on paper, if a power plant and J drive are perfectly tuned, nobody should ever have any kind of adverse reaction entering or leaving jump. But that's impossible to achieve. And so there are people who are susceptible to that. They'll get headaches, nosebleeds, maybe become a little bit nauseous, and it lasts literally nanoseconds. If it lasts longer than 1 second, you should see your doctor. If you have an erection longer than 4 hours, talk to your doctor from jump resonance. But this ship is probably experiencing the worst case of jump resonance ever, and it appears that the jump field at some point has come into contact with the ship. The entire front section of the main part of this ship has been, I don't want to say sheared, because that's not the right word. It just doesn't work anymore. Or it just doesn't exist. It's gone. And so these guys have boarded the ship. They've run into some of the crew seem to be feral. In checking the computers, the computer claims the computer doesn't make any sense. It says that this has been going on for about 10 days, and yet they find close to 250 years worth of logs of showing these countdowns in between jumps. And it looks like the jump drive is going to attempt to activate again, or this is the theory. It looks like the jump drive may attempt to activate again in about 15 days. They have now gone into one of the pods there are 3 pods that are attached to this colony ship that have biodomes in them, and they have found some survivors. And so that is where we will be picking up. Before we get started, I'd like to bring attention to the fact that we do have a merch store via Zazzle. We've got t-shirts and buttons and hoodies, and there's drink glasses and beer steins, all sorts of stuff. And 100% of the proceeds from that store goes back into our channel. It helps cover costs such as Roll20 Pro, Incarnate Pro, things of that matter. And these are all the small subscriptions that kind of all become a large subscription at the end of each month. And so if you'd like to help us make ends meet, we would appreciate anything that you can do for us. Go get yourself a t-shirt, and we appreciate you. Also, the Braunhaven PDF sale has been extended. Braunhaven campaign setting books over on DriveThruRPG for the PDFs are all 50% off through Monday, March 24th. So if you're wanting to get some new campaign ideas or quick adventures, go grab some PDFs.
Braunhaven is a fictional land.
Yes.
By the way, it is not an actual location on Earth ever.
We had a case. A guy commented. So I have 2 video series. One for the Braunhaven role playing game that we do every Saturday, and then another one called The Lore of Braunhaven, which talks about different landmasses, areas, people, kingdoms, etc. And this guy, I posted one yesterday, and this guy today commented that he had searched Google, and when he searched any of the place names, none of them were coming up. And he said, "I don't think any of these places or any of these names are real places." And I actually had to read that comment like 3 times because I was like, "No shit, right?" So I told him, I said, "The name is, or the answer to your question is in the name of the title." And then he came back and made it sound like it was my fault that because I should, at the beginning of every video, make sure that everybody knows that these are fictional landmasses. And I'm like, well, between the two video series, there's over 179 videos that are up. I would think by this point that I don't really have to, uh, you know, say it every time. I mean,
as a disclaimer, today's game will be purely fictional.
yes, today's game is purely fictional. None
That's
of
a
these
fucking
people.
lie. This shit really happened.
Yes.
All this really is happening right now. We are bringing it to you firsthand. You should pay close attention to everything we say and put great weight behind everything. Yeah.
yeah. We've been laughing quite heartily over this all day. So, all right.
I told him he should get a smart friend to help him out with these type of topics. He's probably watching now.
He probably is.
Not trying to say. There's girls that are dumbasses too. So
yes. Yes, it was a sensible chuckle. So, you guys meet up with these survivors. Everybody, does anybody have? Well,
I'm interested in their warp problems.
Yeah.
We have communication issues.
But we got communication issues for now. So it's sort of like, let's try to get some basic communications set up while our translators continue to work and get to the point where we can communicate effectively with them.
There it is. Let's see. To look at a. Does anybody have any language skills?
I do. I've got linguistics 1, I believe.
Okay.
I've got.
Let me confirm that. Though.
I've got language 1, but it's Valami.
That's fine.
Right. That's.
Yeah, I've got that trough.
Okay.
So it sounds like it's not.
I'm rank 1 in Erline.
Okay. So it sounds like all of you are have some kind of language club. Now, my other question, and I should have thought of this earlier because it just popped into my head.
Guess that gives us a 0 in the linguistics.
No, that's what I'm looking at right now. I think you actually have better than that. To be quite honest.
Well, if it gets that education, man, we've got Mel.
That's true.
Yeah, so I mean, we can count on him to have good roles all the time.
Yeah.
No pressure.
That +3 to education is pretty great. So language. All travelers can speak and read their native language without needing the language skill. Okay. Having language 0 implies traveler has a smattering of simple phrases. So I would assume that because the Golanglic is the common trade language of the Third Imperium. It is derived originally from English, spoken in the Rule of Man. So this language that they're speaking sounds very similar to Golanglic. Like it's every time they are talking to one another, it's like on the edge of your mind, you're thinking like you almost understand that. But I would think, and let's just go ahead and say that you guys can put this down. I think everybody would have probably Golanglic 1. I would think that Mel, because of your high education, you probably have Golanglic 2. Now, this is one of those things that this is probably one and only time that you would need to have Galanglic as a a high-end language. But so you can all make a language Galanglic plus your choice intellect or education.
So we all got Galanglic as 1.
Correct.
And then we can use that education.
Yep.
And
Because you're educated.
yeah. 9.
Nice.
Got an 11.
Nice. And an 8. Okay. So as you're listening to them talk, of course, the what is it? The TUA, the box is translating or is chewing on the language as it's listening, and you are able to pick out like this woman who seems to kind of be leading these survivors. You pick out that her name is Karai Addix. And let's see, you are able to pick out that she evidently is an engineering officer. But they, using hand gestures and prompting you, they kind of invite you to share in some of their rations, and of course they're interested to see if you have any rations. All of these crates and whatnot that they've got sitting around, it looks like they've been going around the ship and salvaging, and some of these crates look like they're pretty beat up. It's clear to you that this ship has gone through some things, and they're just eating what appear to be essentially they're eating MREs, and they're kind of wondering if you have anything different, and they're offering trade for different kinds of food and things like that. You don't find anything nefarious, but after about after about an hour, so we'll say 60 minutes, the translator starts to respond, and it is picking out bits and pieces of what these guys are saying. And as you are communicating more and more with them, after another 50 minutes, you are able to piece together what has happened here. And so Karai Addix tells you essentially that the current situation aboard is pretty desperate. She is under... Her and the other survivors are still, like the computer, are still under the assumption that this has only been going on for about 10 days. And she tells you the year that they launched, and whoever wants to make man, there's all sorts of skills here that are not normal. Let me look at my broad. I would think that this would fall under planetology or space sciences. So whoever has space sciences can make a space sciences plus intellect or education 12. Yeah, that'll do it. So she tells you the year that they launched, and Sarda, kind of listening to this, does some quick calculations, and if what she's saying is true, it would mean that they had left in Imperial year 832. You guys left charted space somewhere around 1105. So they've been out here. I mean, so it would now be, for you guys, it would be what, 1111, 1112, and they launched at 832. So
How much linguistic drift with a written language could possibly happen in 300 years?
Quite a bit.
You'd be
Quite a
surprised.
bit.
Yeah, you'd be surprised.
Especially when you consider that there's different planets, and so you've got a lot of opportunity for crazy drift.
As an example, there was a linguist that I was listening to the other day in a podcast, and they were talking about medieval English, and he had brought up that if it were possible, a Connecticut Yankee in King Arthur's court, the reality is, if we were able to go back in time, it is very likely we would have no idea what anybody was talking about. Like, just, we would recognize words, we know them to be English, but have no idea because they were used in alternate contexts. And so,
like reading Shakespeare.
Right.
Well, or hearing the way Shakespeare was actually performed at the time, because they did it incredibly fast.
Yes. Yes.
And the modern ear is not even trained to pick up that speed.
Yeah, so there can be a lot of drift, especially in uses and meanings and context for words is usually where you get a lot of it. And spellings for words. And slang. Slang is terrible. So evidently this ship left in like 832. And its mission was to it left in 832 from a world called Maine, in what they're referring to as the Commonwealth. And their mission was to travel beyond the known region of space and to seek out a suitable world to colonize. And so basically the way these ships were designed, which you guys have kind of already gleaned some of that, but these are jump one colony ships. And so they jump along, at 2 to 3 parsecs a month, doing wilderness refueling. And they can do this for usually 1 to 2 years before they absolutely have to find a suitable planet. Some ships have gone as far as 3 years, but the more and more that you do this with a ship like this, because you are so far from any help, I mean, after the first couple of jumps, you're beyond aid, your chances of a catastrophic problem, go up exponentially. And so the idea was that these guys would limp along out there, find a planet, colonize it, and then a follow-up mission would track their progress, following, the course that they had laid in. Previous missions usually went over a much shorter distance, but Far Colony Postulant wasn't finding what they were wanting to be desirable, and so they kept going. The early part of the mission went well. Made a series of jumps, many of them into deep space, and they left their home region way behind them. And it wasn't too long after that early grace period that things just went to shit. Sorry.
How many parsecs back are we from that planet where we got the droid scout ship?
Oh, you're ways. You're away. Quite a ways.
Well, like what? 2 jumps away from that?
I can tell you. Let's see. You're at DSA 3. So yeah, it's 2 parsecs back to DSA 6. But see, Revelation made this 2 parsec jump knowing that there was likely a fuel source here. This ship being only able to jump 1 parsec at a time, there may not be any refueling ability in between here and DSS 6.
Oh, I wasn't even contemplating doing that. I was actually about to suggest that we sever the power to the jump drive of this ship, and make several jumps, bringing the people back to the other ship.
And there's also the issue of having to go back through the nebula. But anyways, so disaster struck. And the first the crew knew of it was a set of very strange readings coming from the jump drive, then reports of crew members being attacked in various parts of the ship. They sent teams out to investigate, but they found only bodies, or the teams that went out came back with casualties and injuries themselves. And it became clear that something was on the ship stalking and killing the crew. Days passed, and it was clear that Far Colony Postulant has suffered a misjump, and a very bad one. An erratic jump field allowed jump space to intrude upon the outer parts of the ship, causing damage to the cedar segments and within the main hull, but the most serious intrusion took place on the forward end of the ship. A section of the main hull containing the bridge and command spaces was severed and fell away, coming into contact with the jump field, and instantly the command section was annihilated, along with the ship's senior officers. More jump space intrusions occurred after this, but none are on such a large scale. The remainder of the ship survived largely due to the efforts of the engineering officer and her team, this woman here, Karai Atrix. They were able to stabilize the jump field around the remainder of the vessel and began trying to remove colonists from the most threatened parts of the ship. Attacks on crew members continued, and the survivors made the obvious connection. Something hostile from jump space had entered their vessel. They claim, this is a nightmare from the wildest spacers' dreams. The crew steeled themselves to face whatever threatened them and accelerated their program of waking some of the colonists. Some newly wakened and crew members alike descended rapidly into madness, hallucinating horrible monsters or attacking one another in a paranoid rage. Even as the killings continued, the crew bravely searched the ship for some intruder, hoping to find and kill whatever was attacking their vessel. The crew were looking in the wrong place, she tells you. There was no intruder. There was no hideous jump space monster. She said what had happened was in some ways worse. One of the colonists, a man named Jacob Enton, come to find out was a latent telepath, evidently of considerable potential. A malfunction in the jump drive caused a chain of minor system failures and interrupted a routine monitoring process undertaken by the medical staff. For most subjects, there was no effect. She says backup systems kept everybody safe. However, in Jacob Enton's case, the incident caused a momentary interaction between his telepathic senses and the jump space surrounding the ship. Jacob was heavily sedated and frozen almost to the point of zero brain activity in a low berth, but he still began to dream. Even slowed by the cryogenic process, Enton's brain was capable of significant activity. Confused and tumultuous images raced through his mind, and whilst only moments passed for his body, his brain experienced a lengthy ordeal in which it strove to comprehend what was happening. He was trapped in a frozen body. He reached out with his mind. He had no control over his powers, just a desperate need to escape his personal hell. His flailing mind touched the jump drive and the field it produced, causing further disruption before discovering it could make contact with other beings. Days passed as the ship had a disrupted jump drive that was running wild, and after 15 days in jump space, so the normal jump is 1 week, these guys were in jump for 15 days. Far Colony Postulant began to emerge. Her jump field was collapsing, erratically contacting parts of the ship and destroying those parts. Here and there, pockets of jump space formed inside the vessel, if only for an instant. The destruction was considerable, but survivable. She says that Far Colony, and this is kind of the engineer having a bit of an ego. She says Far Colony Postulant was fortunate in many ways. An ordinary ship would have run out of fuel and been completely destroyed, but Postulant had enough fuel for 3 jumps aboard. So they can save up fuel and make 3 jump ones. And that doesn't, the way she makes it sounds that other colony cedar ships from the Commonwealth apparently may not have had that ability. This is maybe something new. Except that the misjump had devoured over half the fuel in her tanks, and so this has been going on. Again, her and the survivors are saying that this whole situation began about 10 days ago, but here again, she fully admits that Postulant was in jump space for 15 days. She can't seem to correlate between the two. Like, it's almost like different time, different space. But what she does say is that Jacob Enton's conscious mind was awoken. Excuse me. And when he came out of his low berth, they were in real space. And of course, the medics that were bringing him out of low berth thought that they were doing a good thing. They didn't realize at the time that he was the cause of this. And he let out a psychic scream that killed most of the crew in the close vicinity immediately. Their brains returned to scrambled eggs. Others that didn't die were driven mad, and she said perhaps you have seen some of the ferals. And and yet others went so insane that they are now they've become followers of his.
Well, our head cases will take care of yours.
I'm sure Bocephus has a cure for that level of mental illness.
Have all kinds of cures for mental illness. So this guy the psychic guy is running around with his minions, and then there's also the ferals.
Yes, she does say that there are and the levels of madness that this has caused in the survivors varies. But she does tell you that there are the ferals, of course. There are those that are his followers that will do nearly anything for him. And then there's another group that's very similar to the survivors, but they have no problems with cannibalism. Like, so the ferals will commit cannibalism too, but there's some that are quite sane that just have decided to eat the dead.
I think that we ought to invite all these guys onto the Dresnex, and we need to we can send teams or crews to do things on the ship, but I think it all ought to be based on spacewalking or something like that. I want the ship to stay back a little bit, because I mean that's a very valuable commodity if some of these entities find out it's there, and I'm not necessarily sure we can deal with several thousand people coming up on us trying to fuck around.
Well, right, and she does. So she does tell you that Jacob Enton and his followers have set up in engineering, and it's almost like they are worshiping the jump drive. But she can tell. She says that from what they've been able to glean from some of his followers and their rantings is that Jacob's conscious, his subconscious has kind of accepted jump space as the state to be in.
Yeah.
And so him being
I get it.
telepathic.
I totally get it.
Yeah, he wants to be in jump space, and every minute spent in real space is a tumultuous torture for him and his followers. So they were constantly trying to get the ship back into jump space.
Okay, is the maneuver drive functional on this ship? I mean, she's an engineer and she's been fucking hitting control panels and doing diagnostics. I mean, surely she hasn't been locked out of the system. And I'm just assuming, that she likes to be called Shirley.
That's right.
Yes.
Should we figure out what the reason is why they think they've been gone for 15 fucking days and they've been gone
yeah.
300 years before we fucking touch anything on this place?
That sounds like a good idea too. But I know this. I know if they want to jump this ship, I don't want to be on it.
Oh, that's
and yeah, and this waiting 10 or 15 days or however long the countdown, that sounds like that's just what they're waiting. If they know we're here and decide to jump to trap us, then we have issues. So
yeah, you're basically aboard Event Horizon.
Yeah. I mean, we're in this nebula right now, so I don't think anybody can jump. But I just think that we should back up, re-gear, and do some communication with Deepnight, and what skills we're missing. Crew on the Deepnight will have to provide hypotheses and stuff like that. We might have some jump space experts on the ship that can give us a little more insight. And then I think we ought to go seize engineering very violently.
Anybody who wants to make an engineering J Drive plus education check may have some info here.
I don't have J Drive.
Well, you got it in 0.
Yeah, you got it 0.
Yeah.
So.
12.
Okay, a 12. So, I'm looking at this. So, Sarda kind of goes over. So she has a TL9 portable computer, and Sarda kind of goes over these numbers with her, and you come to the conclusion that Bocephus, you can make a scientology plus education check.
Boom, 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 boom. Oh, I got 2 in it. Oh, I'm fixing to fucking get good bonuses. That will give me an 8 because of a bad roll.
So, an 8 still gets it. So, Sarda, looking over these numbers, all these numbers are way skewed. When you look at a ship that has entered and then exited jump, and you look at the logs, those numbers, there should be very little variation. And you're seeing graphs up here, you're seeing graphs down here. They should be closer to center line. You are you postulate that they have suffered the most extreme case of what some people call jump bounce, where a ship will it will exit jump space only to go back into jump space and then come back out. And looking at these numbers, the jump bounce is continuing. So it's not even fully out. Right now, the ship that you're on is not fully in real space. The field is still attached to the ship. Looking at this, Bocephus is able to determine that it looks like, and this is, you're able to kind of come up with a working theory that matches what Karai Addix is telling you. You've never seen a case where there was a telepath, especially a latent telepath, that was strong enough to interact with a jump field, but you are able to crunch the math to come up with a theory in that this could be something that would be possible. It's not something that you would personally have ever seen, because the people that your race they're all born telepathic. And so their skills are honed from birth. It's an innate ability for you. So it is kind of foreign, but having learned what you have, this is theoretically possible. And who knows? Because if the ship is in... So it seems now that there's going to be about 15 days before it goes back into jump space. But from what Bocephus is looking at, it's possible that if this guy gains some kind of control over his telepathic abilities, then it could cause the bounce to happen sooner.
Yeah, I'd like to go see if we can get dart guns that have null drug in it, or get null drug and spike food and let them capture the food.
What do I think would it take to get us out of this semi status, to get us to a normal, out of a jump status to a more stable?
It would take, and I know that.
Yeah, I'm guessing just cutting power to the J drive won't cut it if it's...
Theoretically, yes. If you could cut power to the J drive, that would stop the jump bounce, but that could also be catastrophic, because if the jump field is still partially active and you're not completely in real space and you cut power, what's left of that field could collapse onto the ship and destroy everything. A better way of doing it would be to first remove if we're assuming that Jacob Enton is the problem, removing him from the equation and then tuning the J drive back to I guess a factory default kind of adjustment, so that you're more center line, then that would actually allow you guys to finally be in full real space.
Okay.
Do we know for sure what section of the ship he's in?
Yes, she can bring that up.
All right, we have a very large gun on our ship.
Yes, you do.
Very.
Yes, you do.
And if we assume that all of his worshippers are hostile, well, we're going to end up killing a lot of them anyway.
Well, I was just thinking that I'm also psychic, and I have a rank 4 in jump engineering, and so I could possibly help him with what he's looking for.
He is somewhere in section 13. So last week I had said you'd gone through, and it was actually section 12 that you were in, looking at all of the low berths. Because, this is still, if each one of these squares is 50 tons, that's a cavernous space. This, even larger space, is where the J drive is. And he's somewhere in here.
All right, then that's where we need to go.
And like I said, you've already been where the J drives are, but you did not run into them, which isn't beyond the realm of comprehension, considering how large that space is.
And we didn't spend a shit ton searching that area. We were kind of headed...
You were trying to get to 14, which was leading you to the Cedar segment.
Yeah. All right, so I guess the way in there is through this 14 area here, and we'll go see if we can find old boy. Or, as I said, we can just get a shit ton of rations and put null drug in all of it, and just drop the rations off right there in the J drive room, and
wait for them to pick it up.
Well, yeah, that kills the psionic entity if it eats the null drug. It'll be unable to use psychic powers or psionic powers.
For how long does that last?
That is a very good question.
That is a good question.
It is.
You and your fucking details. Yeah.
Null drug is on page 94 of the Central Supply Catalog. It says...
It's horrifying to me that you know that.
That I know where the null drug is? Index.
Exact rate.
Index, yes.
Fair enough.
Let's see. So it does say that it has to be injected. Dampen psionic abilities and others, known as generally classified as anti-psionic chemicals injected into the target. Takes 2D minutes to take effect, completely shutting off psionic ability for 2D hours. So upwards of 12 hours. Anywhere between 2 and 12 hours.
Oh, yeah, that's pretty good. So, but it sounds like we're going to need some kind of dart gun method. Might have to 3D print a dart gun.
Yeah.
We could probably do that easy enough.
Yeah, and if I remember, like many moons back, you did have the replicator replicate a smaller version of itself to keep on the Scout.
Oh, I bought a bunch of that shit.
Yeah.
When we were on the original shit. I mean, I've got a few liters worth of fucking worth of stuff. I mean, I'm sure I could make us all have little syringer like pistols.
Yeah, let's.
Does this game have the equivalent of a needler from Star Frontiers?
It kind of does, yes. They don't call it a needler though. I think they just went with flechette. But let me.
And would this be the equivalent of a slug weapon?
That's what I'm wondering. I think it is. I do remember seeing something about that. Let's see here. It might not even be in this book. They've got flechette pistols.
Yeah.
Silent weapon for use by those who do not wish to bring attention to them. So it uses compressed air to launch a cluster of metal darts. That would be it.
Contact poison on the needle.
Yeah, I would say that a flechette pistol would get it done. It's odd that they don't say anything about using anything like a poison or there. I think there was it might have been in a one of the journals of the Traveler's Aid Society. I do believe there was a dart gun. No, it's not that. Looking at rifles too. Yeah, I would say a needler or a flechette pistol would do it.
All right, I will print us all up one of them and give us,
It's weird. I just did a search for inject, and there wasn't anything that. I mean, there's like medical injectors.
Yeah.
Which we've watched enough original Star Trek to know that can definitely be done against somebody's wishes.
Right. Yes. Right. Yeah, I would say a flechette pistol is probably your best bet.
Yeah. So I will make 3 of them, and put a couple, rig up a couple of shots with a null drug.
Okay.
On so like that, and then we can use a different pistol, or different, that's for if we're trying to take the old boy alive. We can use this. It'll cut off his sonic ability in a non-lethal way.
So you're up, and so your ship.
You guys are the nicest murder hobos I've ever run with.
I know, right? I know. They want to keep everybody alive. I'm shocked.
Oh no! I mean, I am notorious for shooting motherfuckers with my Gauss sniper rifle because I'm so confident in my medical ability I can bring them back.
That's true. He carries around a defibrillator just in case they still have a skull.
Yeah. I can rebuild them stronger than they originally were.
So
you got to cause an injury a lot of times to have a reason to bring them on the operating table.
So then the question I have is, so you guys, your ship is docked up here on deck 3, right up here in this, what used to be a biospace, since all of that is now pretty much missing.
That's where we have to go first.
Are you bringing Karai addicts and the survivors with you and leaving them on Desinex, or while you do this, or what are you doing with them?
I mean, the smart thing is that these people have not been quarantined. We don't know, you know,
They might have space
we don't know.
herpes. I mean, you know.
They might be part of the, they might not be fully out of, they might not be fully out of jump yet. I don't know. I'm afraid that if we take a whole bunch of motherfuckers and put them on our ship and then leave our ship, they might take our ship, and that's not cool.
Yeah,
That's what I'm worried. I want to go back to the ship and gear ourselves to go fight this guy, and then have our ship back out and stay a little bit away and wait for us to call it in, so it doesn't get assaulted and taken over by pirates.
So I can tell you. So the the survivors. I can tell you more about them as a general.
We could sedate them, I guess. They might like that.
These are not. So I can tell you more about her. She is. There's a current faction that is kind of known as the engineer faction, which is most of these survivors here. And she was formerly the engineering officer of Far Colony Postulant. It is quite obvious that she's not a born leader, and has inherited her command from other senior officers who were likely killed at some point in this entire situation. She's done her best. Generally, she's been successful, but there are more charismatic people even among these survivors than her. She has a SOCH of 0. Well, I could show you her. This is her statted out. Yeah, she's probably a little bit autistic. I mean, with a SOCH of 0 and an intellect of 9 and an education of 10. Yeah, she's counting matchsticks. But she says, I mean, she lets you guys know that if you want to take over leading this party of survivors that she's got with her, that she's perfectly okay with that. In fact, she welcomes it. It is her duty to remain in command as long as she is required to do so until somebody better equipped to do it comes along.
Right, so she's been just sort of hoping the computer would wake up a higher ranking person to
right,
take over.
Right. She has the same jump disorientation that everybody else has. In fact, all of you can roll 2d plus your endurance modifier.
6 isn't the best I could have done.
8's
11.
Okay. Let me see exactly what that means, because this is...
I might have to kill you both. I'm sorry. I'll go kill the
both
psionic.
Cephas and Sarda are okay. But
So
Mel, it says anyone not shielded and who is close, basically on the ship, you have a vague sense of weirdness and disorientation.
So situation normal.
Right. Yeah. Basically, almost like the slow motion dizzy feeling that you might get if you're starting to get a fever kind of situation. You're not at a point where it would negatively affect any rolls that you might need to make, but getting closer to Jacob Enton may cause more. She and all of the survivors are also experiencing a very similar disorientation. Occasionally, these guys are actually getting it worse. She occasionally suffers from hallucinations, and some of that could be from the stress of what she's had to go through. In addition to all of this taking place, of course, now she's been thrust into a leadership role, and so the poor woman is a little frazzled. She's increasingly cautious, and you guys note that she seems more and more unwilling to listen to any new ideas from the other survivors in her group. As you're kind of having your powwow and going over this, she is kind of glommed onto you guys, and somebody else will bring up an idea, and she just shoots it down immediately.
So I think the most important thing is probably to show her the current maps that we've made of the region, so that she can sort of see, because the reality is this is not a stable system to be in.
Yeah, it's a bad spot to come out in the problem that you have. This is the worst case scenario.
and with them being jump one, I mean, it's sort of like we can maybe help them get to a stable system, but I don't know that we can help them out of that system. But they certainly want to be in a more stable system than they currently are. And
well, they can hold enough fuel to do 2 parsecs back to that garden world we just left.
That's true.
That's true. I think that would be the ideal. You know, so I think I think the jump guy, we might be able to work with him, right? Because he just wants to jump, and so that's the goal, is to get this ship jumping back to that system. So we might be able to convince him that it's in his best interest, if he wants to get back into jump space, to help us jump back to those systems, so that we can let everybody out that doesn't want to continue to travel in this ship.
Yeah. So
I think right now the survivors should just take and relax and say, well, look, we're going to go get some supplies and help you out, and we're going to help you. We'll be right back. And then we go to the ship and get these needler guns, and then see if we can, handle the situation in engineering.
Okay.
I think
if that's what you guys want,
yeah.
you're going to have to pass through engineering to get up to deck 3 to get to your ship.
Yeah.
Anyways.
And if we have an encounter with them at the beginning of this, going back to our ship, I do have my sniper rifle. So, I mean,
yeah, I mean, you guys are you guys are armed. I mean, you weren't going to go into the ship unarmed. I mean, you've been playing with me too long to fall into that trap.
We slaughtered some feral innocent children.
Yes. I mean, before they hit you with the wet end of somebody else's arm.
Yeah.
Oh. Interesting. Okay.
And I will make a note and tell Sharda that we both need to put our telepathic shields up and keep it up.
So, you guys do have an encounter, but not in engineering, or not in J Drive.
This shit where we came from.
Yeah.
Are we rolling initiative? Is that how we're going to walk through this? Is that what we're doing?
No.
All right. Good.
I'm supposed to see my guy. Don't. Nope. Nice to do. Right at the corner. Right at the edge.
Yeah. We've been through here, but we haven't You remember we came in and we fucked these
Yep.
dudes up over here, and so there's some bodies.
So you guys are moving through the area, and I need to look through your eyes. Perfect. So you're moving through the area. You get to an intersection. You know you have to go up north this hallway to get to your vessel. And down here, a door opens, and stepping out you see this individual step out, an older man, and I mean older, balding, kind of step out wearing probably one of the cleaner Spacers jumpsuits that you've seen so far. You can ignore the name Feral Survivor. I'm just using those as tokens. And this guy steps.
I don't think I'm going to fall for that.
He steps out and he says, "Oh, you there? We haven't seen anybody else in quite some time, but we were just about to sit down for a meal. Would you care to join us?"
What you eating?
Oh, I've made a glorious stew.
I'm good. We just ate as we came from our ship. I'm here to see if we can't help you with your engineering system.
Oh, that would be most excellent indeed. You guys can all make a recon plus social check.
Hey,
Oof.
14.
Wow. So
Boxcars.
So Mel, you immediately. I mean, this guy seems to you like he's probably not even having the passive disorientation that you and some of the last group of survivors that you met are experiencing. He seems like he's perfectly all right, and both you and Bocephus, I mean, on the surface, see that kind of feel like this guy is probably even more sane than the engineer. Like he seems like he's really with it.
Okay. Do I get any sort of feeling from that we're being invited to join the Donner Party?
I mean, you were told that there were some that were eating people.
yeah.
Sane and eating people.
Yeah, she said that they acted, perfectly normal, but, I guess they just got. She kind of took it as like, they just got tired of eating ration packs and.
You say we. How many of you are there?
Oh, I'm here with 3 other individuals.
Excellent.
I'll run a meta scanner over that stew. So is the stew.
Oh yes, come on in. And so he hold on here. He invites you in, and they have it looks like the most civilized, oddly set up dinner party you've ever seen. They've even got little survival lamps that are set up so that they've got candlelit dinner. They've got a sheet over a table for a tablecloth, and there's a place setting. And you look at the stew. There's a pot of stew there, but everybody can make. So this guy back here. Everybody make a recon plus intellect check.
11.
Whew. Man, and Mel with the 14. Jeez. Oh no.
I got
Mel
a
with the 9. Okay. So looking back here, you see that they've got a cutting board set up, and they are cutting up somebody's leg and kind of chopping it like they're cubing it like stew meat.
Right, I'm good.
Don't want to be rude, but I'm still full for lunch.
Yeah, I'm good.
How many of them are there?
There's 4 of them.
Does it look like? Are you guys just taking that from the low berth, or is that like somebody there that they're just sawing his leg off, or I mean, what's the situation?
It's just a leg.
Right.
I mean, are you gonna have the? Did you pull that from the low berth? Or?
Where are you getting your meat, guys?
He says, terribly sordid business. There were 5 of us, but we were set upon by some ferals. But we chased the ferals off, but unfortunately, our friend didn't make it. Well, waste not, want not.
Right. Okay.
Right,
well,
I'm gonna need
don't want
a real good reason not to light these fucking people up.
they're literally surviving on what they have.
Yeah, that's a bad choice. They aren't in a starvation situation.
They kind of are.
Well, I mean,
my empathy only goes so fucking far.
Yeah, there are ration packs around the ship. I mean, you don't know where they would find them, but obviously they exist because the other survivors had pulled together a bunch of these guys. I don't know how to describe it. I mean, obviously this whole endeavor has affected them, but they haven't gone feral, and they don't act like lunatics. They just,
you might want to check them for prion disease.
Yeah, I mean, we got a free medical checkup here if you guys would like it.
Yeah, I mean, yeah.
I'll go along with it. Sure.
Have at it. You can make a. What did we? Let's see here. That was
persuade.
No, they're perfectly fine with that. You can go over them. So you get a medic plus education plus 3, or yes, plus 3 for your medic scanner.
Oof. 20.
Well,
Now, hold on. As I'm doing this, I want to sedate all 4 of them.
Okay. Let's.
You'll find a little prick, but you seem to be, malnourished, and then I'm just sticking them with, I can actually look it up, I guess, if there's a drug. I just think a strong sedative that'd knock a human out should be all I have to come up with to say. I mean, surely you got that. If I got stuff to knock you out to operate on you.
So this is I'm looking at prion disease. And so it's transmissible, untreatable, and fatal. But the transmissible part is the portion that I'm questioning. And the reason I say that is because you do not detect any prion disease. But you can make a deception plus social check. And then my question is, how fast acting of a sedation are you looking at? Do you want
I'd like to see him passed out within a minute.
Okay.
All right, Nate.
So yeah, none of these are medical staff. They have no idea. In fact, they have probably never seen a med kit as advanced as yours, so they think that this is just a part of it. And
well, I'm sure the dolphin head's probably helping too with that.
Right, that's true. That's true. They don't seem shocked to see Bocephus. You inject all 4 of them, and as you're going over them with the scanner, and they, within a minute, they all start to drop. They are sedated.
There you go.
So
Flawless victory.
Flawless victory. Yes.
I mean,
because we literally can't take them with us to whatever planet we're taking these other people, because we're not going to drop a bunch of cannibals in with the people that we're actually saving. Because this is the goddamn choice. They aren't at Donner Party level where you're snowed in and can't get out.
Yeah, I think we ought to put them in one of these pods and just let them fend for themselves. You know, the pods are detachable, so you detach the pod from the main ship, and they can just eat each other.
That is true.
Yeah, and then we take all the people that we're trying to save, and we save them. But I kind of agree with Mel. I don't necessarily want to save the cannibals. You know, they might be fine, and they might be young, but they are still cannibals.
So
they're fine young cannibals.
Oh, that is a callback to the 80s, man.
Oh yeah.
The pods themselves, and let me find my master chart here.
Yeah, they even got smaller. This is 1 square is only 25 tons, not 50.
Right. Yeah,
so
the pods are smaller. But according to this, these are power plants, and these pods have their own maneuver drives, but they don't have jump drives.
That's there. Yeah, they'll be great. They'll be fine.
They also have a hell of a cargo hold. I mean, even
plenty of space.
Yeah, they got. Yeah, they can move around. So,
but yeah, right now, they're getting their shit from somewhere, and I'm really trying not just to kill everybody all the time, because I mean that just seems to always be the easiest route. But
right.
If I sedate them and restrain them, I think Mel and I are on the same page. We just really can't let these cannibals just run around. Sardomites for them, but he likes that kind of stuff.
I was thinking more along the lines of how can we, slowly change their perspective on this stuff.
Yeah,
right now I'm just removing players from the chessboard.
You can make another Scientology plus intellect or education. Well, in this case, education.
I love that education. They gave me a 10.
Okay, so mixed with your medical scan on these guys as they were getting sleepy did not detect any prions, but the results that you get back, you are suspecting. So what you do find is that all of these particular individuals are deficient in certain elements, minerals and elements. And your theory on that would be that for whatever reason, it is kind of giving them the compulsion to eat flesh of those who are not deficient in those elements, because the what's left of the leg and the meat has plenty of the minerals. So, like, perhaps whoever it was that they are eating had eaten, or at least eaten recently, some of the ration packs.
All right, so we need to basically just provide them with a balanced diet.
I give them a good vitamin shot, and we'll tie them up, and we'll deal with them a little later. But
Yeah,
again,
your results suggest that if they were removed from the telepathic effect from Jacob Enton, and were given a good balanced diet for a few days, that they would cease their cannibalism. I mean,
is that good enough to appease Mel?
They're still going. They're still going to
crime?
have the mental trauma of what they've done, or maybe not.
Yeah.
I guess it depends on their morals.
We can work. We can help them work that out.
Can we agree that we'll drop them off on like a Hoth kind of planet, so the fuckers turn into Wendigos? Because we're gonna
take them.
We're gonna craving you fucking have. You don't eat people.
We're gonna take them to the closest place, which is 2 system jumps away. We're not bringing them to special.
We can put them on a different part of the planet.
No, we just need to help. I mean, hell, you can help reinforce the idea of not committing cannibalism.
That's true.
I mean, this is, you think about the people that survived traumatic experiences where they did turn to cannibalism. They were able to eventually live with themselves and return to productive members of society when they got back from the mountains of Chile or whatever the hell they crash landed. I mean, that's all. It's just trauma, survivor trauma, and we can help them work it out. And we just need to get them out of the mental control of this dude, get them a good diet available to them, and then help them get over the mental trauma, and it's not an issue we have to worry about anymore.
They all break into a cold sweat and get the shakes whenever the McRib comes back.
Yeah, a lot of these are things that we'll have a week or two to decide if we aid them in getting back to that planet, or if we just send them there and go on. But I mean, my personal opinion is if they fail psychiatric exams, and I think that they're inclined to go back to cannibalism, then perhaps they should take an extra long nap, and that would be that. And if I do think that they would be able to move past this and live with themselves, knowing that they ate a bunch of dicks, then I'd be fine with them going on. I'm not like the karma force of the universe, but
no, you are no. So,
but I mean, I also believe that every little player should get a chance to make major decisions, and we all go that way. And so, I'm kind of like, Mel has not made a stand on jack shit the whole time since we've been playing. So if he wants to make a stand on this, I'm going to support him on that. just for player agency.
This is his hill to die on.
Well, yeah. Just the same way as I would support Sarda or Brian or whatever if they hadn't made a decision on any kind of, if it meant a lot to him. I just don't want to run over anybody. I mean, that's not polite, and I'm already a strong individual because I don't shower.
So, coming out into, you guys are having your discussion on exactly how to deal with these and making your way back up to towards your ship. You get towards where you're going to. There we go. You get back up into, more towards this forward section. You're coming up on the airlock, and again, and this happened at the first time when you first got on the ship. The lighting in the ship, not all of the lights, but like row lights down the hallway go boop, 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 and then it stops again. And you're back into darkness with your own lamps. Everybody can make a recon plus intellect check.
Got a 10.
6.
So Mel and Sarda, you realize that the sequence of how these lights and the sound that is made has altered. The last time that it happened, you noted that there was a three lights flash, and then a pause of about 5 seconds, and then 5 lights flash. This time, you note that there are like 2 lights that flash. There was a 3-second pause, and 3 lights flashed.
We have
2 instances is enough to establish a pattern, right?
do we
True.
have comms with Deepnight?
You would need stronger comms than what you've got in your suits. So I mean, there's a lot of radiation because of the nebula, but you could potentially you could contact them from your ship.
Okay.
Could we relay through our ship?
That's true.
I want to do hey Deepnight, how long have we been on, and then check that versus our clocks and see if we've done some tomfoolery, because there's a lot of motherfuckers that are confused about how long they've been doing stuff. And if we're like, if we go past this edge of a bubble or something where we've gone back into our time or our non-half jump universe, whatever. You get what I'm saying?
Yeah,
I
the
mean,
last thing you want to hear is, "Hey, you've been gone for 3 weeks. We're just about to pull up stakes."
yeah. So
Pappy has electronics and a +1 for intellect. He can certainly make the roll. Let's see.
I've got comms and computers for electronics, but I'm actually not on our ship.
Hey, he got a 9. So yes, you're able to raise Destinex, and Pappy is able to fiddle with the comms and get it's sketchy, but he's got a connection with Deepnight Revelation. So you're wanting to corroborate the length of time is what you're.
that's correct. I want to synchronize our watches. Look at them, see what's happening with that, and then send a status report.
Okay.
On what's going on. I mean that seems appropriate. And then ask for recommendations on what to do with fine young cannibals that we come across.
So a broken comm comes back from Revelation, and you guys have been aboard for maybe a total of 3 or 4, about 4 hours. You are the comm that comes back. Revelation is shocked to hear from you. They say that you have been missing to the tune of 10 hours.
Explain that there's a time dilation. The ship's in partial warp. We're attempting to get it out of warp. Do not be surprised if there's more time dilation.
Okay. They say affirmative, and they want to know. They were actually just starting to prep a second ship to come over to do a rescue or investigation as to what happened to you. Do you require assistance?
I mean, I say no, but if anybody comes up with a reason why we do, I mean, that'd be a great time to say that we need it.
I can't think of anything we need. Although it would be nice to get an idea of the difference in time stuff. So I think we'll do a something where we both start a timer like now, and then check the difference in time in a bit.
Okay.
You know what I mean? Try to get an idea of how far off is the distortion.
Okay.
I'd be totally cool if they sent a whole platoon of Space Marines to come fucking help us out.
just go and shooting. Like, just,
I'm not
weapons-free.
saying that, but we might need more than 3 guns on this fucking mission.
So you guys get back to Destinex, and so Bocephus, are you still printing? Are you starting to print up flechette pistols?
Yeah, with the null drug in it.
Okay.
I'd like. I don't know how much I can max out, but
Let's see.
I'd like to, or at least an inhibitor drug. I know that null drug is TL16, so I don't know if we got that. But the inhibitor drug is TL9, and
it's not called a replicator, though. What is the name of that?
A bioreaction chamber.
Okay, that's what I was looking for. So, if I've got
or reaction chamber.
Nope, I didn't put it in. So hold on here.
I'll look on my character list. Probably has.
Bioreaction chambers on page 88.
Yeah.
So it says. So it supports a biologically active environment. Now, this isn't what I was looking for. I'm looking for the 3D printer.
And the reaction chamber is what I think it's called. I'm trying to find where the fuck I put all that shit.
They can be used to grow cultures and organisms.
Fabrication chamber.
Fabrication. Yeah, that makes more
sense. Yeah, I have the TL13 fabrication chamber, 3 liters. So, I mean, I guess I could have done rifles if I wanted to, but I didn't. I did pistols. I could do 3 pistols at a time.
Let's see. And you've got what TL is it?
13. And these pistols are TL9, I think.
Yes. So yeah, you could crank out 3 of these pistols per hour. So it'll take an hour to crank it out. Well, here's the problem. Max TL item created is TL2. That's a problem.
TL10?
TL2. You've got
you'd have to make darts that could be thrown.
Yeah.
No, this thing was talking about the max was 2 levels below the thing.
So you've got an enhanced tech level 13, complex electronics, simple biomechanical, it has computer/2 equipment or advanced robot brains. Max TL item created is TL2. It takes 1 hour.
Oh, well.
That doesn't sound right, though.
No, because on the original book, before they updated it, it says it was that
doesn't make any sense, because it says that TL13 enhanced fabrication chamber can create additional fabrication chambers, even complete robots with advanced brains. An enhanced fabrication chamber includes the technology to act as an advanced bioreaction chamber. It can print a full organ, limb, or similar replacement part, possibly infusing it with cybernetic components, but is unable to directly. You what?
That seems above.
Yeah, that seems above 2. Yeah, but it says is unable to directly print a complete living organism, although it can infuse a biological creation with artificial nervous system. Yeah, now that would have to be above TL2. Yeah.
The old one,
their charts are
2
wrong.
levels. Yeah, their chart, because if I got a TL13 system by the before the updated book, that would have me at TL 11.
What,
Did you subtract
so then
2?
Then there's a section on standard fabricators. I wonder if that's what they're talking about. It must be. It must be the standard fabricators, because there's no way that an enhanced would only be able to do tech level 2, not according to its description. So we'll ignore that. I would say, going back to what I said, I would say that you could print out 3 of those pistols in an hour.
That's what I'm going to do.
Ammo for them. So then let me go back to then let me see. 2. So a flechette pistol has a range of 10 meters, and its magazine only carries 2. So another hour, and you would be able to print up ammo to load up the flechette pistols with.
Then that's what I'm going to do.
Okay.
And I'll put that. If I've got null drug available, I'll do it in that. If not, then the inhibitor drug, I will use it, and that'll at least make anybody trying to do telepathic shit or sonic shit. It'll make them do it with a -2.
Well, we know that you do have null drug because you attempted to use it in the past. So
yeah,
but for a different, you had the opposite of what you thought. So yeah, we know that you have the null drug, so that's not an issue.
Good. Then yeah, I'll null and void.
In that 2 hours, you note that you detect out through your windows. The lights flash again. This time, the pattern is 1 light, a 2-second pause, and 2 lights.
At that point, radio the ship, and get another time check with them.
So it's been 2 hours that you've been because you're waiting for Bocephus to do his printing, and the revelation reports that 5 hours has passed.
Okay, let's continue to monitor it, see if it's consistent at this ratio of 2 to 5.
Whoever wants to can make a electronic sensors plus
be happy to
plus intellect or education.
$14.
That's pretty good. You are detecting that there is there's a higher EM frequency coming from the hull of the ship. Not your ship, but the hull of Far Colony Postulant.
Right. Okay. So,
I mean, do we have any thoughts on what that might mean with our futuristic science brains?
I would think, let's see here, 14. So, whoever wants to can make a J Drive plus, engineering J Drive plus intellect or education, and you get a +3 to that.
So 12.
Okay, so you seem to think
Mel taught that.
Yeah, you and Mel both seem to think that there is energy that is being shunted to the jump drive framework that is on the hull of the ship. Every ship has a grid pattern that the jump field is dispersed throughout in order to create the jump bubble around the ship. And you think that there is power being shunted to that network.
Where do we need to go to change that?
Well, like I said, if you were to shut power off all the way, that could be catastrophic because that could cause the jump field to completely collapse and annihilate the ship. If you were able to tune the drive or to turn the jump pattern off at the J drive, that could solve the situation.
Okay.
Without destroying anything.
Now, so yeah, it's my understanding we got step 1 is to deal with the psionic issue, and then step 2 is to tune the J drive, and then we can make decisions about what to do with everybody.
Right. That
seems reasonable because the moment we hit that J drive, we're going to cause the Scion to come after us if we deal that first, and we don't know how many people he's going to bring with him. So yeah, I think you're right. I think going after him directly is our best bet.
All right, so you are all equipped with a flechette pistol. Hold on a second. I already.
It'll do some damage, but the main thing is it'll stop whoever you shoot with it from having psionic powers for hours. So.
And I will have. Give me just a second, and I will. Oh, I think I already did.
What you talking about, Willis?
It is on the slug chart.
Oh, yeah.
There is the damage and range. So 10 meters range, 3D -2 damage plus whatever you throw into it, and it is silent. Sounds like an old woman coughing.
Well, but I mean, each of us has 2 rounds, so you know.
So
miss.
It is fun. I find that from a real life versus a real life scenario versus what they're claiming. Oh well, because it uses compressed air, it's damn near silent. And I can tell you that is fucking bullshit. So we were up camping, and one of the guys that came with us had a 22 caliber air rifle, and I handed him some high speed ammunition. Basically, instead of lead pellets, these are like lightweight aircraft aluminum. And he loaded that sumbitch in there and cranked it up. And my wife was over behind a tree trying to get ready to take a leak. And he let that thing off, and it was loud, man. Crack! And she about shit her pants. Because we're up in the forest, it's dead silent. This guy, pow! It is not near silent. Everybody within 100 yards knew that somebody had fired off a 22 caliber air rifle. So, yeah, I guess these flechettes are really small, but like, wow.
Even a real good silenced weapon ain't.
They're not completely silent, no.
Yeah, I mean, you might not be able to hear it shot, a couple of rooms down. But, you in theory could hear.
Yeah, anything bigger than a 22, you're gonna. They're not as silent as you'd like.
But it stops people from 300.
A suppressed 22 sounds very much like it does in the movie. So all you're
doing
is hearing it go back and forth.
Oh yeah, well I mean, there's a reason why the mob used suppressed 22s for so long. I mean, they work, right?
Mm-hmm.
I always laugh when people are like, "Oh, 22, you're not going to kill anybody with that." I'm like, do you realize that the 22 caliber round has killed more people than almost anything else? Like, so, 3D -2, and you guys come to this large. It's not even an airlock. This is just a big, large. Security type door that you would expect on a ship's engineering section, such as the ship that you're on, and it is closed. What you want to do, Willis?
Let's go for it.
Okay.
Yeah.
You can make a electronics, computers plus intellect or education check. I always forget. Do you guys have the intrusion software and all that shit? I thought
We're
you,
not like Ting and them.
or
I
did you
mean,
have an
me-
auto hacker?
We did
think
not
we
have
have-
an auto.
no,
I-
that's the Marines.
Weren't we using something else? We were using something like that to breach the airline ship
Yeah, I thought you. Yeah, I thought you did have an auto hack.
because we had to get through a couple of sealed airlocks using it.
Right. That's exactly what I was saying. Field catalog. Here it is.
Yeah, I've got a tech level 14 computer, but does not have intrusion.
You'll still get like
Yeah,
if
you
that,
get
you'll
a
get
massive
+5.
Yeah, you get a massive bonus for the. Oh, you guys. They
Yeah,
did
mine's
not put
got
an index.
Agent 1, Security 2, Intelligent Interface 1, and a database. So it's pretty basic.
Right.
But
yeah.
still, you get a +5 if this is a TL9 plus your computer and intellect or education. I guess. I mean,
Right. So if I get +5, is that what it's?
So
well,
it's
if they're TL9,
it is the
Right,
difference between. It's the difference
So I got
between TLs.
So I got
They're
a
TL9.
16.
Okay. Okay. So yeah, you plug in. It was TL14 to hack the door, and this door opens. And so in here, you see that there are standing here in front of this column or this computer panels. You see that there are a couple of guys, and they are kind of wearing makeshift robes that are essentially blankets that they have tied into what look like preachers or priests' robes, and they immediately turn around and see you guys. They. I need to clear this. I need to find out how they're going to react because they don't always react the same way every time because they're batshit insane. They are lunatics. Yep, they are going to be hostile. Behind them, you see this man. What the fuck? Oh, come on, I know I put him in here. Alright. Alright. Joseph Enton. This guy. And he is standing very close to this reaction chamber for the jump drive, almost like he's he's got a hand out, like but it's not touching the component, almost like he can feel the jump field as it's being charged up.
okay.
Don't need two of those. Hold on here. These guys. Wow, what a bunch of fucking losers. Well, that ain't the worst. And I don't think he's spectacular. No, he is absolutely not. Oof. All right, you guys go ahead and roll initiative.
Excellent roll.
Well, it's not the worst that it could be. Oh, you're muted.
Oh, yeah, I couldn't find myself at first for initiative. Here we go.
Oh, yeah, you're up at the northern part of the...
Yeah, no problem. That's you got to have yourself targeted. So I was like, come on.
I am going to move them to the bottom of that stack of 8s because they're not great. So, Bocephus, the door opens. You see 2 of the followers directly in front of you, and you see this guy wearing like looks like he's wearing orange Oshkosh Bagosh overall, kind of spacer overalls, holding his hand up like he can feel the static electricity coming off the J drive. What do you want to do? Oh, and don't forget, he doesn't have any eyes, because where we're going, you don't need eyes.
That's fine. I'm going to step right there.
Okay.
And I guess I see more guys, but he's within my range.
He is.
Yeah.
Yeah, he
I'm
is.
gonna hit him.
He. Yeah, I'll say he's within 10 meters. I'm not going to quibble over a half meter. But you are at a -1 because you're at max range.
Okay. All right. Well, so there plus dex.
Yeah, it would be gun combat slug plus dex.
Yeah. Yeah.
-1.
And then -1. So here we go.
Ooh. Okay. So shooting at this guy. Ooh. Well, you don't hit this guy. You hit this console with your first shot. You got one more shot before you have to. Well, before you're out. Sarda, what would you like to do?
I'll move in and see. We can move 6. So these are control panels for the jump drives. These guys are at, right?
This is the main jump control panel. I mean, you've been in enough ships that you know what a jump drive looks like. This looks like, antiques to you, but yes,
right.
You recognize what things do.
I think I probably have a stunner and the needler in both, one in each hand.
Okay, I've only got two-fisted.
I've only got 2 shots of the needler, and I don't want to waste it on the followers. So
right.
I think I'd have had a stunner for them. So I'm going to move closer. I don't want to get within total, adjacent, but I want to get near them.
Yeah.
And then I'm just going to fire at that guy. Yeah.
Yeah, if you want to stun him, I'm going to give you
stunner.
a +1 because of short range.
Yeah. So stunner, boom. Oof, well, I hit, but I didn't do enough damage, or as much damage as I would have liked. So,
10 damage. I mean,
it's technically 11 because the 1.
Yeah,
but effect rolls over.
Yeah, but this guy, 10 damage. This guy, you zap him, and he kind of twitches for a second and hits the ground.
Okay, that's cool. And that'd be my turn.
All right. The followers. I don't even know what these guys have. Oh. Well, okay. Shotgun it is. This guy.
Our suit has what?
Which suits are you? You're wearing the HEV suit. Is that correct?
It'll be our hazard vac suit,
Yeah,
right?
that's what I figured.
Okay.
It is. Hold on, I'm finding it. There it is. Hostile
Thank you.
environment suit has plus 15 protection.
All right. Thank you.
So this guy, 7.5 meters. He has a shotgun. There it is. Oh, okay. So he gets a +1. And that's all he gets. He's only got gun combat 0. So he needs all the help he can get. Oh, look at that. That's going to hit for +3 damage on Bocephus. For 19. Minus 15, you'll take 4.
Yeah.
This guy, he got? He's got a shotgun. He is going to fire on Sarda. And hits with +2. For 18. So
Oof.
3. You're
All right.
wearing the HEV suit as well, right?
Yeah.
Yeah, that's
Right.
what I figured. Down here,
So 3 off my endurance. All right.
this guy has a subby. He's got a submachine gun. He's going to... Why not? He's going to go full auto. Because that's a good idea in engineering, right?
Yeah. Sure.
So he gets 3 shots. He'll do 1 on Bocephus. Oof! Oh! Oh! For +5 damage. For 17, so Bocephus should take another 2. He's going to do 2 of those on Sarda. First one, an 8 is no bonus damage. For 1 point of damage. And the second one, +2 to damage. For no damage.
Nothing.
Doesn't get through. And
All right. So I'm down 4 endurance. All right.
These guys hearing the commotion. Are only going to move. They're going to be a little bit more cautious. Mel, what would you like to do?
Nuke this place from orbit.
Yes, I'm going to throw a grenade. Fuck these people.
I'm going to fire at the guy so he can't do anything anymore. I'm going to fire at Enton.
Okay, do it.
Do it.
So let's see. You get a plus. That's 7.5. Now you're at +0. For range. So a 7 does not get it. Narrowly miss, and it
Right.
clings off the wall back here. He like yell violently. I think that's probably what I need to look at what that exactly means. Oof. Okay. Yeah, that's what he's going to try to do. But he needs to get a 14 or better.
He's trying to assault, telepathic assault.
Yep. And it says, yep, and the result is automatic unconscious, possible death.
Oh, the first thing is who's he shooting at? Who's he going at?
That's what I'm looking at here.
Yeah, because a couple of
Yeah.
us have defenses, I think.
We have shielded minds, which means that we'll go into a face-off. If he hits his 14, then he's gotta outscore us in the telepathic
So I will.
scion skill.
Yeah, this isn't. It doesn't look like this is a broadcast, or is it?
No, it's just a
It's just a
telepathic
single-
attack
it's a
on their
single
brain.
person.
A single person's. Yeah.
So Bocephus is going to be 1 to 2, Mel's going to be 3 to 4, and Will be 5 to 6. 1 to 2, it's Bocephus.
All right.
Perfect.
So, well, first he has to see if he can actually do it. He needs
Yeah.
a fort. He can even. No. So
No.
he lets out a telepathic scream, and Bocephus, and but Bocephus's shield just blocks it all out. Like, ha, I've got earplugs in, la la la. We are back at the top of the round. I think we'll break here, and we will pick this up next week with you guys finishing off Enton and his followers, and hopefully rescuing the ship.
All right.
All right.
Well, thank you.
You're very welcome.
Yeah.
Fun.
All right.
Awesome.
Yeah, that was fun.
We'll
They're starting to get shit now.
Yep.
Mhm.
Yeah. Well, now
Yeah.
it's in the ball's in your court, so you guys can start mopping up.
Hopefully, I think if we take him down, maybe the followers will be less insane and released from his control. Is
Yes,
what I'm
more
hoping.
than likely.
But
Yeah.
That's yeah. So anyway, it was fun.
All
See you
right.
next
See you guys.
tomorrow.
Have a good one, guys. I will see
Bye.
you guys next week, and I'll see.
Take care.
I will see Wes tomorrow.
Yep. Good night.
Good night.
Take care.